Hi everybody, I'm Tina with the Felted Ewe. Welcome. I thought I would teach you some needle felting basics today. So if you're new to needle felting and you're not sure what to get or where to start, I'd like to go through a few things with you. And I thought I'd start with your felting needles. So the three sizes I use are the 36s, your 38s, and your 40s. Your 36s are your workhorse. So you've got your 36 triangle, which is usually the one you're going to start with because it's going to felt everything down the quickest and the fastest. And then you would switch to your 36 star felting needle. The stars, the way the tip is cut, they slide through the wool once it's felted, starts to get some density to it. The stars slide in a little bit easier, and you'll notice that they'll start to grab and like felt things down a little bit tighter for you. Once you get past that form, when you're having a hard time poking those needles into your felted piece, that's when you're going to usually switch to your 38s. So your 38s are your middle of the road. They're going to help you get things down and like really sculpt them and get the shape that you're looking for. And then your 40 and your 42, those are your fine ones. So you're going to use those when you're using a finer fiber or if you're doing fine detail work after you've already needle felted your piece down. If you have any more questions about the felting needles, please reach out to me either on here on YouTube, put your comments below, or you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram if you want to reach me that way. So that's a little bit about your felting needles. We'll go into some more about how the felting needles work as I demonstrate everything you're going to need to kind of form your first project. The other thing I wanted to go over with you was the differences in the wool fiber types. So when I first started, I was told that roving was what you called all processed wool. I had no idea that different processed wool was called different things. So the first wool that I was introduced to was a roving. You can see the fibers are fairly aligned. They're really straight. And when you start to pull them off, you can see they're very linear. So this was what I was told, kind of like what I started with and what I used in the beginning. It's fairly easy to use, but for beginners, I actually prefer the bats. I like the bats because the fibers are a little bit shorter and they're crimpier. So as you can see, when you start to pull them out, they're more web-like. And so they tend to needle felt down a lot quicker, and your finish tends to be a lot smoother. You don't see the direction that the wool is going. Whereas when you're using your roving, if you wrap it up, you can see that the wool fibers, you can see the direction they're going. Whereas when you wrap your bats up, you can see what directions it's going right now, but once you needle felt it, it smooths everything out. The other thing is kind of in the roving line, but this is a sliver. So the difference between your roving and your sliver is just how thick it is. So when they're processing the wool into the roving, they take it one step further, which is your sliver, and all that is taking these and dividing it into thinner strips. So I like the slivers too. It just depends on what company you get them from or which wool mill they get them from. But you can see on this too, when you pull it apart, the fibers are fairly straight. So these work really, really well when you're going to do like fur on an animal or hair. I like to use these. But they all work, and it's just personal preference. So some people just really love the roving, and this is what they do or what they use. And what I like to do when I'm using a roving is I'll pull some off, and then in order for it to needle felt down easier, I do what I call conditioning. So I just pull it apart and like really mat it up. So it makes this really matted up kind of fur ball. And then by doing that, you can see you get the fibers going in a bunch of different directions, and then it makes it easier once you roll it up to start needle felting it. It felts down easier for you. So I hope that kind of explains a little bit of the wool basics. We'll get into more of that, and again, if you have any questions, just put your comments below and I will answer them for you.